What's up guys, I'm Matt Ward, Trim Supervisor with J&RS, and today I'm going to show you how to trim a pocket door. Okay, so first thing, we've got to install our door. So every pocket door framing kit comes with the rail system, the wheels that you need for up here. So refer to your instructions on that. But they basically screw right to the top of the door and then it kind of just clicks right in. So then what we got to do is we got to level the door, which we've already done. So you want to level it from when it's closed or when it's open and then when it's all the way closed. Ours is a little bit different on each side, so what you want to do is balance it so it's even. So it's just 1/8 each way. So that way when you install your trim, it looks the best that it can. So one more quick thing, when we're installing our door, what we want is for our door to stick out a little bit so when we put our trim on here, that it's all nice and flat. So in order to make sure we got enough room here to make our adjustments, you see I added a little block right here. They usually come with a little bumper, so there's a little bumper back there, but it just didn't give us quite enough room, so I added a block there. And now we are ready to install our trim. So after the door is installed and leveled, we've got here is these guides that we've got to install. And what these guys do is they keep it away from the walls so it doesn't scratch. It just helps keep it in line. It runs nice and smooth. All right, so our next step is to install this jamb piece right here. But before we can do that, you can see we've got a little unique transition here. We're going to have carpet here, and we got tile here. We even got this funky little transition piece here. So what I did is I just took a piece of wood, and we're just going to scribe this on here. Now this is just going to be something we trace onto our actual piece. But all I did was I set this down, took my pencil, scribed it, and then we cut it out. That's going to look really nice. This side's going to be up off the floor 3/8 of an inch to allow for carpet. And we'll factor that in when we put it on our piece. Just to make it easier, I'm going to install the shims first, and then I'll put the jamb right over the shims, and then I can make little adjustments after that. Top's where I'm hitting, and bottom I got a gap. Okay? So when I put my trim on up there, my jamb, I'm going to go tight to that, so there's not going to be any shims up there. So I'm going to fill in right here, right at the bottom. I'm going to put shims in, so 3 places. I'm going to put it at the bottom here, and then 1 on each side of where the strike plate will be. I'm going to move up and I'm going to put 2 more about right here and here. Okay, last one. So now that we got our shims on, I can put the jamb right onto this, and it should be almost perfect. And then I can use some more shims and we can tweak it here and there. So that'll be our next step. Okay, so after we have our shims here, and we've got our scribe down there, now we're gonna take our full length here. I'm gonna measure just off this tile, as long as you've got any sort of reference point that you can transfer. And I got my number, and we're gonna cut that to length. So next step, we're going to fasten our jamb. You can see we got it in place. I'm going to shoot it right where the shims are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open and close the door, and I'll make some little adjustments if I need to. The other thing we want to do is make sure that this thing is nice and square and flat with our door. So if there's any kind of tilt, I'll go on both sides, this side, and see, make sure we got a nice tight line, and the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna line my jamb piece up best I can, even with the sheetrock on the top here. Putting 2 nails in. All right, guys, so now what I'm doing is I'm using the door once again, holding it up there, and I can see light in certain spots, so I'm just gonna make some little adjustments as I go, and then I'll go through the other side and do the same thing. At 80 and 5/16. All right, so next step after our jamb is installed. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do, like a 3/4 board on here, kind of like square like this, that matches the jamb. But you can also use doorstop. This is often what comes in a trim kit for your pocket door. So this is like 1 3 inches wide here. So if we put it on here, it covers pretty well. We should be able to line this up pretty much with the sheetrock here, and it should line up really well. But what we're also looking at is making sure this gap here looks really nice. This is also why it's important to have those guides right where you want them, so that we got a nice even gap on each side. So this will leave us with about a 1/4 inch to 5/16 gap between our stop and the door. So another thing to remember, we've got our door guides here that get attached to the rough framing here. So our trim's gonna go over the top of that. So what we wanna do is we wanna mark out on our piece of trim where this is gonna go. And then we're just gonna cut out the back side. All right, guys, so next step here, we got our stop cut to length. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shim out the back side of this so that it's nice and flat. And then I'm gonna nail it on, and I'm gonna do that from the top to bottom, and then I'm gonna do the other side. Oh my gosh, look at that. So now we're doing our top piece up here, and we already got our piece cut to length, and we got it coped here. You can see that. It's got a unique profile on the side. So the way we do that, at a 45-degree angle like this, and then what we have is basically this line right here when we do that. So then we just literally cut right on that line. And then that'll fit very nicely right up here. Okay, so just like this side, we've got our 18 gauge nailer over here. So that lines up nicely there. Lining this up with my end of my jamb side there. You got it.
Trying to fix your car.
All right, guys, now we got all of our stop material on. You'll see here, we got it on the top. We brought it down here, covering over this jamb. You can see it, door fits nicely right inside. Okay, so now we are ready for casing. Okay guys, so this is our casing. It's gonna go wrap around the outside. We're gonna go right over the top of our jamb, and it's gonna line up right with the corner of our stop material, giving us that nice reveal. Up at the top, where these meet, we'll do a nice 45-degree miter, and then we'll do the top and the other side, and then we'll do this side here and we'll be done. 80 3/4 to the inside, 45. Okay, and then 80 5/8 is your left leg. We'll do our sides first on this one. We'll just do the old school glue and nail as well. All right guys, we got our casing leg cut to length here, and we've got shorter nails. Very important, depending on what size wall you're working with. This is a regular 2x4 wall, so being that a door has to fit in here, the framing on here is pretty small. So make sure you take that into account. I'm using 1.5 inches. Yeah, you want shorter nails so you don't shoot a big long nail into your door. All right, so as you can see, the casing's on. That was the last step. We're all done. That's how to trim out a pocket door. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe so you can catch us on our next one. Thanks.